There is a random freeze warning tonight, 2 weeks out from Halloween. So dealing with bringing some potted plants into my garage. Well, it doesn't look like much, but this is what I've got. Trying to do a little rescue action on some of my plantings. Let's see, my Cuban oregano looks like it's in pretty good shape. The ones that I'm worried about are when they kind of have this reddish look to the leaves. I don't know if that means like maybe frost damage. Unfortunately, last night we did have a freeze, and again, this is 2 weeks out from Halloween, so I didn't think I was really at risk of that happening so early. But I just want to bring these into the garage overnight since we're still supposed to have really cold temperatures. Hopefully take them back out tomorrow and not have to do this again. Pardon the mess in here. It's really, it's in bad shape. I need to get a dedicated space. Hello. But yeah, I'm not sure what that's all about on the hydrangea, but I hope they're not goners. This is an example of a little rescue 911 with my plants that I had to bring inside. First, the most noticeable one, the asparagus fern. It still looks like it's in pretty good shape, despite the overnight freezing temperatures we had. And then my maidenhair fern is not looking great. It was not looking great before, but now it's really looking like it's on life support. You can see there's some brown fronds. They're dead. Some yellowing. That's not a good sign, but there is some green growth down here. So I just decided to bring this maidenhair fern in. I think it's done with its summer vacation officially. And then this creeping Jenny, you can see it has turned red. I don't know what that's about. I don't know if that's temperature change, sudden temperature change induced. I would assume so. But you can see there is still some green in here. So yeah, I mean, I'm hopeful that all three of these will be okay, but we'll see. Oh man, gotta love a sudden frost. I don't know why this creeping Jenny is so red. Look at that.
Maybe it's too cold.
Yeah, I'm bringing it in. I don't know if it's freezer burn or what, but it looks kind of interesting. They're hanging off the mantle. I don't know. Always like to go around and check on some of my plantings that are newer. It appears the obedience is looking good after having put this in the ground a couple of days ago. And the loose strife also is looking really good. It has definitely turned colors. Wow, it is more red all over now. That's interesting. I'll have to check on the parent plant because I took this from cuttings, from rooted cuttings. I'll have to check the parent plant to see if it has also turned this burgundy shade. Of course, this is because of the cooler temperatures, but that's just what these plants do. It'll be up into the mid 70s, and it'll be interesting to see if it goes back to green or what the color does. I'll update you though. This is not a good look. Look at all those brown spots on my quick fire hydrangea. Don't know what that's about. I have to research this a little bit. I hope that's not a bad sign. That just doesn't look great. But I checked the soil under here, and I mean, it is moist. So I'm not sure what that's all about, but I had to come inside. It is just too cold out there. And I'm not about that life. Not without proper jacket on. Hi everybody. If you can't tell, it's Halloween today, October 31st, and I find it so interesting that it's like comfortable out here. I don't need a jacket. It's windy, I'll give you that. But it's very comfortable, and yeah, we're not experiencing a deep freeze for any time soon. I just checked out the 7-day forecast, and we're talking about upper 70s into next week. So Not sure what's going on with this, but just trying to roll with the punches here. I mean, I really thought that I would be done watering by now. I thought that I'd be bringing a lot more plants into my garage or into my basement to protect them from frost. Not having to deal with that. So in a way, it's nice. I mean, my zinnias are blooming that I got a super late start on in, I think, the Gara in my front yard is just Gara-ing. It is beautiful. Still showing off. Look at her go. She is like, I am not done yet. I mean, it's just amazing. And that gives me some hope that some of the smaller plantings I have put in the ground will survive. Of course, I've been very diligently watering my Obedience and Loose Strife in the south garden bed, which receives full sun, no shade. Still watering deeply my Limelight hydrangeas, or Quickfire, excuse me. These are Quickfire hydrangeas. They still need some water, looking pretty crispy at this point. But we've kept them alive all summer, so definitely want to keep that going. And then I had planted some Obedience here. I'm just going to water that. It's still looking green. And then over there, I've got the Loose Strife, which has turned red. And here, I'll just go over here and show you. I mean, it doesn't look totally dead, but it doesn't look super great. You can see the red leaves there. Browning down here. I'm assuming it's still alive. Yeah, I mean, there's still a little bit of green in there, you can see. But yeah, sometimes with these new plantings, it's hard to tell how they're doing. I guess next spring we'll really tell, because once it gets cold, I mean, this is going to probably be reduced down to nothing. But the hope is that it'll come back in the spring. This right here is truly my happy place. I don't know what I'm going to do when I can't garden for the season. It's going to absolutely just wreck me. So yeah, any suggestions, leave them in the comments below. What do you do in the winter? This time of day, this time of year, all the red on the ground. It's fall. The leaves in the yard, you know, I want to keep them in my yard. I do understand, though, that leaves, they take a really long time to break down if you live in a drier climate. If you live, you know, in a place where you get a lot of rain, you know, it takes less time to break down into the soil, into the grass. But I don't want to kill my grass out in the front yard, so we've just been letting, you know, just blowing off the leaves and raking. The girls like to rake with us. So even though I know it's good for the carbon footprint and whatnot to keep those leaves in the yard and just kind of mow those in, I haven't been able to do that. I haven't been able to convince the husband that we should go that route, because he likes having the grass in the front yard. My hostas in the north-facing garden bed, which receives some sun but mostly shade, I've been just picking out the dead leaves, and there's a bunch of new growth. I actually divided and transplanted a couple of hosta plants because they were pretty large. This here is my north-facing bed, primarily shade bed. You can see I've got a hydrangea right here, and then I have some hostas that I split and transplanted over the summer. You can see there's quite a bit of new green growth, some glossy leaves here, no holes in them, but then there's all this dead stuff. So just for aesthetic purposes, I'm going to remove that yellowed dead stuff. I don't have to, but I just want to get it out of there. This is a Nandina, also known as a bamboo, but this one doesn't grow very fast. I thought by trimming up my viburnum up here, letting some more sunlight in, trimming it up off the house, off the gutters, that would help this Nandina grow a little bit more. But it's been pretty slow growing, but there's definitely new growth on here. And I've got my false strawberry vine that I know a lot of people would not love, but I actually prefer it. I think it looks really nice. It has a vining habit. So yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't like that, but I think it looks pretty. So I'm going to keep it for this time being. My trees in the backyard, I've still been watering those on occasion, 10 to 15 minutes a piece. I have 5 of those arborvitaes in the backyard. And, my planters out in front are pretty much shot, although my Cuban oregano and those front planters are doing great. I have had some more daisy growth, which is nice. My yellow daisies there. And I'm noticing the bachelor button kind of coming back as well. My lemongrass in those is looking a little ragged, I should say, not rugged. So, at some point I'll clear those planters out, but I don't think yet. Maybe I'll just keep the oregano in there. Maybe the oregano and the lemongrass, maybe I can find something with some color to kind of fill in there. That might be fun. Maybe I'll actually transplant the zinnias in there. I don't know. I mean, the zinnias, they've got a definite expiration date once the temperatures start going down, which I'm assuming will happen in mid-November now. I'm not sure. It's just looking so warm for this time of year. Hey, I'm not complaining about it. It makes my life easier in a lot of ways. Got to be truthful here for a minute, even if I do have egg on my face and feel pretty silly. This rhododendron, I actually watered it overnight one day, I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago. Yeah, so it was underwater for how many hours? I think more than 12 hours. So I've had to let it really dry out. You can see all the leaves that turned yellow and red here. Yeah, I don't think it's supposed to do that. But when I check the soil here, I mean, it feels kind of dry, but everything I've seen says to not overwater this. If it's gotten that much water on accident because you left the hose on and you forgot, you just kind of let it dry out completely. I am going to be doing a video in the future on if you've propagated plants and you have small plant starts, how to manage those over the winter, because some do need sunlight, evergreens. They do need sunlight, so you may want to put those in a windowsill versus some others that go dormant. You don't even necessarily, you need to water them very intermittently throughout the winter, so don't overwater those. That's the kind of thing I'll get into in a future video, but today I just want to stick with the wacky nature of this weather. This video, I believe we're on episode 11, is kind of all over the place. I started recording pieces of the video when we had a really hard frost for a couple days, and then it went nowhere. I mean, for the last 3 weeks, I think I've been working on this video. Maybe not in the last 3 weeks, maybe the last 2 weeks, because I've had some other stuff going on in terms of work stuff and other things. But this one's all over the place, and I give you a little preview of what's to come with the frost and the cooler temperatures, which we're getting a little bit of a break from that right now. So hopefully the kiddos will have fun trick-or-treating tonight.